Okay, am I hearing audio now? Yeah, this should be it. Yep, that's it. Now AVDVRW good. Glad I checked. Once again, 11:01 a.m. That's not exactly what I said earlier, September 2nd, 2023. Comedy of a morning. Yes. Let's see. I'm going to see. I don't think there's. Oh, yes, there's a Zoom participant already there. I think when I go to Zoom, I'll have to make an adjustment because I don't think I got around to doing that. I'm going to go say hello to people in chat before before opening to Zoom. Chris Garrett. Oh no, Doug driving a boat. That was the trailer this morning of our ski boat rental trip at Bass Lake last Sunday. Tony Wallow with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Tony. Selden Ball, can full-on wake surfing be far behind? No, actually, it is here. It is here. Behind that boat, and they have another boat that's actually called a wake boat, and it has adjustments on the driver's control panel to adjust the shape of the wake. I have been looking at videos of wake surfing. It is totally here. It is awesome. I want so much to do that. And I might, maybe next year. Maybe. Martin Hogg, Action Man Doug, thumbs up. Ida Rivera says hello. Greg Guy, afternoon to all. Just got up having first cup of coffee. It's 80 degrees here in St. Mary's County Island. U.S. Navy retired. Thank you for your service. And I had a cup of coffee this morning. I don't drink coffee very often, but I had a cup of coffee with a freshly purchased ham and cheese and egg croissant for breakfast. Dennis says, this started just like my Premiere link yesterday with the trader. Yes, Dennis, I was incorrectly saying that yesterday, and I realized that after the show ended, that link that you were putting into chat for your Premiere, I was clicking on it. It was playing the trader right away, and I didn't recognize it as a trader, and I was claiming that that was your Premiere running. I have been schooled. I know I was wrong once again. I have no problem with being called out for being wrong. And I want you to call me out for being wrong. And somebody called me out for saying Windows 12 in yesterday's episode. I think it was yesterday. And yes, indeed, I have seen that. I'm kind of thinking that I might start keeping a bloopers reel. Actually, I did start that. I got this little notepad here labeled outtakes. September 1st, 2023, when I made a mention of Windows 12 mistakenly. What I meant to say in that phrase was Windows 10 and 11. I don't know why I said Windows 12. The Bronc 9, good evening all. Dennis, Windows Spotlight failed on 3 of my machines now. There's a problem at Microsoft for sure. I have that on my list of topics today. I have Baby Beast set up to show my experience with that. And yeah, it looks like there's something going on. Let's put the watch down on the table. That way, if Tony text messages me, I will be able to see it. Darren Gilholm says, eh, and then he says, hi. Sin Vicious says, howdy, folks. Selden Ball, greetings with the weather report. John Williams, looks like fun and excitement to start the weekend. Nice boat, too. Rental boat, I think it was just a little over $300 for 2 hours. I felt it was quite reasonable. Hello, everybody, wherever and whenever you are from Ran, Israel. Selden Ball, I'm using Chrome today instead of Firefox to see if it makes a difference in the hangs I've been experiencing in Live Windows Training-DougBetts live streams. Strangely, no other live streams have been hanging. I don't know. Other people aren't reporting the hanging, so it was Firefox that you were getting the hanging. Well, I guess it's a little more than I don't know. Is try lower resolution, see if you get hangs during that time, and try watching Stats for Nerds. So you right click on the video and go to Stats for Nerds. See if you can get any clue in here as to what's going on when it's hanging. Is your live latency changing? Is your buffer health changing? network activity, connection speaking. Does any of these give you clues as to what's happening? Because I think it's got to be on your side since other people aren't reporting it. And you should be able to get those stats for nerds even with Firefox. I think that's a YouTube specific thing. Martin Hogg says hello from sunny Ecosi. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Tony Wallow, AVDVR, good. John Williams to William Dawson, good day to you. Were you affected by the hurricane? Darren Gale Holmes says hi. I think that's where he said hi before and gave it to us in, I don't know, is there some kind of Pig Latin? Pig Latin is the one where you drop the first letter of the word and you pronounce the rest of the word with then followed at the first letter at the end and a vowel. Was it an I or an E? Something at the end for, let's see, Pig Latin. Attenlay? Oh, it's an A at the end. Attenlay would be Pig Latin for Latin. William Dawson says, no, got lucky, just wind and some rain. Sin Vicious, can't Zoom today. LMAO, not exactly dressed yet. Well, you can come in with your camera turned off, but the risk is you might accidentally turn your camera on. Robert, Michael, hello. John Wynn, thanks for sending me those photos of Ken meeting up with Josh. John to William, I did live in Miami in the 60s and 70s. We had some terrible storms back then. Speedy C, hello. Dennis, yes, I used my last shorts for the trailer. Yeah, anything that's less than, the trailer can be up to 2 minutes long. Shorts, I think they can only be up to 1 minute long, right? But of course you can select a short. For a trailer, Ken Stout, heading home, missed the beginning. Greg Guy, Robert, detached from my front lawn Friday. Front lawn, probably. Got 2 big bags of dead grass out. We'll be planting new seed and starter fertilizer soon. Rick Lates, hello. Selden Ball, thanks for the suggestions. So you'll be, Robert to Greg, you'll be doing mine next. I think that's referring to the lawn. People saying hello to each other, skip through some things. Dennis says I can join Zoom using my OBS virtual camera, using that circle filter I use for Twitch streams. There's no shirt, all right? You could hang up a shirt behind your head. Maybe that'll count. Hello, how's your day been? Let's see, that's Chit Chat. Speedy C, if you add Windows 10 and 11 together, you get Windows 21. And there you go. That's a good way to say it. Windows 21, Windows 12, Windows 10, 11, they're all related, working hard. Now let's go bring in Zoom. So people in Zoom, get ready. I'm about to bring you in. I'm going to take a look at you first and go fix some settings. I'll turn on the internal audio. And then all the people in Zoom look like they are ready. I'll turn on my camera in Zoom, and then I'll fix my, you know what, I want to fix that camera exposure. Let's see if I can fix that camera exposure. Windows key and then Logi Tune. In order to do this, I have to turn off my camera in Zoom so that I can change the settings for the HP Pro webcam. Remind later. No, it's the 922 Pro Stream webcam. Image adjustment. It immediately adjusted. Now let's see if that fixes it in Zoom. Yes, that fixed the exposure in Zoom. Need to fix the framing a little bit and then turn on my microphone to Zoom so they'll be able to hear me and they can mute their, once I do that, they can mute their audio. Let's see, no speaker. No, they're hearing me through Zoom now. I got to change my speaker in Zoom so I can hear them. I think I've got everything set. There we go. Hello, William Dawson.
Hello.
I hear you. Let's see if chat hears you. Chat, give me a yes if you hear William Dawson. And hello, Alex Cheek.
Hello, Doug. Hello, William.
Good.
Hey, Alex.
Seldom Ball says yes. So we got yeses in chat. Do either of you have a topic to bring to the table or opening comments?
I found something last night. You can't transfer a program with extension over Gmail as a save attachment.
Yeah, it depends upon the extension. Some extensions you can send as an attachment. If they're program extensions, no. What type of extension were you trying to do?
For the new motherboard that Josh is getting, got the new firmware in BIOS for Ken. I was going to send it to him in email, but it wouldn't allow me.
All right. Well, how about sending him a
It was a
link?
zip file.
You couldn't send a zip file?
No, it wouldn't, because I guess because of the. I even tried to unzip the files and fed them into the email. It still wouldn't let me. It says security
That's
on
interesting.
Gmail.
I wasn't aware that you can't send a zip file as an attachment. Huh. I haven't had any occasion to do that, but wherever you downloaded them from, why not just send him a link so that he can download them directly?
I did this. It takes it to the support page for the motherboard.
Yeah, well, that's easy enough. Just do that. Alex, did you have any opening comments?
Well, I've been doing some Aunt Mary's looking for new TV. So I've been helping Josh and Aunt Mary today look up a find a new TV, and had a computer in for repair a couple of days ago. Turned out it was a bad hard drive. It seems like every computer that I repair has a bad hard drive. The customer wasn't too happy that she lost all her stuff, but at least the computer is working. I won't say running because it's an Intel Pentium, an old 13-year-old Intel Pentium. And even though I upgraded the RAM from 4 gigs to 12 gigs because that's what I had, and put a 240 gig SSD, it still is, by my standards, a little slow. At least when you're trying to run updates and do all that stuff. But for like basic web browsing, I'm guessing it'll be okay for her. I just put a basic Windows 10 install on it, called it done. So,
all right,
that would be it.
Did you get her set up with any form of backup?
No, I honestly didn't even think about it. That computer is so old. Me and my mom both have tried it. It's one of my mom's friends from like first grade. Me and my mom have been trying to get her to get on to buy a new computer, because based on Jim's research, me and my mom could build her a new computer for less than $400.
Yeah. Well,
AMD.
Yeah, I remember you talking about this. I saw your conversations on Ken's show. I was wondering, why not get her one of these very inexpensive mini computers? Her needs aren't, she doesn't need a custom built computer. Why spend that much money? It seems like you could get a lot cheaper solution with a mini computer that's already built.
Yes, you have a point. That may be a good way to go. But right now, as far as me repairing her computer, it was hard enough for me to get her to spend the $20 to get the cheapest SSD possible to put in there to make the current computer at least somewhat functional.
Yeah. Well, then another couple thoughts that may or may not be useful is since she was upset about losing her stuff, even though she's got an old computer, I don't see that as any reason to not get her educated into some form of simple backup, because you could probably just get a high capacity thumb drive for that matter and plug it in and have an icon on her desktop for a batch file that just copies things to it. I mean, it seems like you ought to be taking that opportunity to get her to that level. That the fact that it's an old computer, and in your to our way of thinking, her needs are very simple. She cares about losing content. Well, let's try to get her to stop losing content. Now, another comment I wanted to make about the idea of getting a mini computer for her is that if you get her into a mini computer, you have more room to charge for your time for transferring her content to that computer, and you have a higher potential that she may tell other people about this inexpensive solution you got her into. Compared to building her a computer, I don't think you're actually doing all of that work yourself. Don't you have to have maybe your mom help you actually build the computer physically? Okay.
Yes.
So how scalable is that? If she turns out to be really, really happy with this custom built computer, and then you get a flood of orders from other people, that it's not likely to happen. But if she were to be happy and tell other people, that's not really scalable to keep building a larger and larger with needing your mom. But you could get mini computers for people, and you could do most of the work of transferring their content to the new mini computer. And if she tells other people about that, it seems to me that's more scalable. That could build a valid business for you. Does that have any merit?
Yes.
All right. Well, just a thought.
As far as storage, backup storage, he could use one cloud, the storage for one on this cloud for their backup.
Now,
automatic.
I will say a comment about that, William. The cloud storage is not for her. I wouldn't recommend her to use cloud storage simply because I don't know about her data. She don't have hardline internet. She uses a Verizon, one of those Verizon Jetpack hotspots for her internet. So I wouldn't recommend her to use cloud backup.
That could eat up her data usage pretty quickly. So I see why that is.
I don't know what her Verizon cell phone. We went over to her house and talked to her. My mom went over to her house on the way back from my grandma's, and I don't know what her Verizon service is like because I don't have Verizon. I have AT&T, but I know the AT&T service on my phone at her house. I was literally able to pull nearly 300 download. I don't know what the upload speed would be on that.
Well, Verizon has some kind of a home internet service, and I don't have any idea what their data limits are, quantity of data. It might be more palatable or more capable than we might assume offhand. Did you have more on that before I go?
I was just going to say right now she's not even using that. I know Verizon has that home internet, but right now she's not even using that. She's just simply using one of those mobile hotspot things. It just has Wi-Fi, so she's just connecting with a USB Wi-Fi adapter.
Okay, USB Wi-Fi adapter to connect to the Jetpack. And the Jetpack has a direct connection to cellular towers, I imagine?
Yes.
But this is not what Verizon calls their home internet service.
Correct. It's different.
But I would think Verizon's home internet service is still some kind of device that connects to cell towers. Isn't it?
It's the same thing as Josh has, but he has it for T-Mobile.
But it still connects to cell towers, doesn't it?
Yes.
All right.
It's just basically the home internet thing is just a bigger version of the Jetpack with Ethernet ports on it for you to be able to connect.
Now I watched the last part. The next topic I want to go on to, since Josh's replacement motherboard was already mentioned. I watched probably the last half hour of Ken Stout's show last night, and I don't know if we'll get into much detail about what happened with Josh's computer, but I wanted to throw a little bit of a word into the mix that I'm concerned that it sounded like the conversation was going towards getting a replacement motherboard to use that i5 processor, and I don't think he's going to be happy with that. When
Yes.
he got some experience with the i7 processor and what a difference that makes in Fortnite. I'm concerned about whether the community was moving too quickly to put him into that. So I don't need to take that conversation now because I think that's a conversation more appropriate on Ken's show. But and I'd be interested in coming on to Ken's show. I think tonight's a possibility in discussing that, my thoughts on that further. Let's see. Hello, Josh. Let me just say a brief hello to you, and I'm going to go back to the chat room. Okay.
Hi, Bob. What's up?
Hello. Well, I'm doing a live stream. That's what's up. Okay. Back to the chat room. There's some comments about it's the people saying yes, and Jim's in DVR mode. Gmail inspects the contents of zip file, so it's not that it's a zip file, but rather that it thinks there's something of concern in there. Maybe because it's firmware that's being sent from an individual, that might alarm Gmail.
Here's a thought on that.
All right.
Google won't allow you to upload an attachment like that, like a BIOS or like a zip file to actual Gmail, but they will allow you to upload it to, of course, to your Google Drive. So, like, in my opinion, in my thought process, there is not that much difference between Google Drive and Gmail. So why is Google so strict on attachments that they can send email, but you can literally upload anything you want to your Google Drive and share a link, and they won't care about that?
I don't know. Perhaps because somebody emailing something. What? No, that doesn't make sense to me either. I don't know. Greg M has a suggestion there that this thought occurred to me too, is renaming the extension to .txt and tell the person to change it back to zip. I think that will work. Let me get caught up here in chat. Ran Israel, add everything to encrypted zip RAR file and change the extension to something random by encrypting it. That prevents Gmail from inspecting the contents. Jim Tony, thanks for the support. Greg M's updates on what? Windows 10? Yeah, I'm not sure what that was in reference to. IDA is still running slow, but running, not everyone can run at the same speed. Just saying, don't forget Carrier recommends $300 data recovery. Well, because of the difficulty that Alex had in getting the customer to spend $20, I think he said.
Yeah.
I don't think $300.
I wasn't even going to mention to her, and I did not mention to her that, you could go out and spend $100, $200, $300 on data recovery. When I was able to look at the drive and see that she was only using about 115 gigabytes of 750 from the original drive, and that was with the operating system and everything.
Well, how were you able to see that much information yet not able to recover the files from the drive?
Because, like, when I would go in there and I would, like, click on a folder, it would, like, take 10 minutes just to open, go from one folder to the next on that drive, and I just...
Okay, well,
after so long of waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, I basically just gave up for lack of a...
Okay, well, that sounds like perhaps a running check disk and fixing file structure problems might regain access. Because it sounds like if it takes a long time to get into a particular folder, it sounds like there's something wrong with the file allocation table for that folder. And I've had times before where check disk will make it accessible again.
I looked on Crystal Disk Mark, for the drive, and it showed caution for that drive, not good. So it meant the drive was spelling. It showed that it had bad sectors.
Yeah. Well, that still takes me back to check disk to fix the file structure enough to get files off it. You shouldn't be using it, but I'm thinking those files may not be that hard to recover. Maybe you don't. Do you still have the drive?
No, I don't.
Oh. Well,
we gave her the drive back with the computer out of the computer so that she won't have any way of connecting the drive to any way of connecting the drive to be able to get the files off, because she don't have any kind of adapter or anything.
And you said Crystal Disk Mark reported that it was caution. I think you meant Crystal Disk Info, probably.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm inclined to think you might have been able to recover for her, but since she was so hard to spend $20, I don't think you may have. I don't think you lost a big customer. She could, if you did recover her content, or even if you reach back out to her, it could be that you might develop a customer relationship there where she might be telling other people about what a great job you did, that you reached back out to her and said, hey, I might have a way to do that. Do you want me to try? And tell her, like, it's going to cost you $50 if I'm successful. Just to put a number on it. Don't take it back without getting her committing to a possibility, and say, I can't promise you, but maybe, and see if you can get it. If you do, she might really be a big word of mouth advertisement for you.
Well, with all these old computers people bring me and want me to recover their data, I really haven't had that much success at all. Like the last 3 computers that I've tried to repair, I haven't been able to recover that much, if any, data off of.
Well, I've done a lot of data recoveries, and one thing that the lesson that I've learned is you're not going to have success if you don't try. If you give up before going the next mile, saying that, well, it didn't work last time, so it's never going to work. Well, it's not really true. It might be a small number of times it works, but the times that it does work, if that winds up bringing you more new customers, then it can be very worth it. Now, if you don't want to go down that road, that's fine. I'm just telling you that road has worked well for me. I've pulled off things where clients have just thought that it was miraculous that I got it back. But you do have to manage expectations. You can't tell them that, yeah, I can get that. I can recover that. You tell them, no, those are always really hard. No. It may not work, but I'll give it a try. Now, if you don't want to try it, that's fine.
At this point,
sometimes it can work.
I put so much effort into that computer over these past couple of days. At this point, I don't ever want to see that computer again.
All right, I understand. Let me get caught up with chat. It seems like I can only read 1 or 2 before I get interrupted. Let me get caught up with chat. When I mentioned how much data recovery costs, people's precious files are not that precious. Gotta love the mini PCs. Mike is muted at the hardware level at the moment. Just need to tap it. Thank you, Dennis. I will get back to you as you're next on my list. Looking forward to Jim's reviews of some junk computers. Agree with you. Normal home users don't have anything valuable to spend $300. Home users will not back up regularly. Yeah, it's really difficult to get them to do that. I've had many times, and this kind of supports why try, is I've set up easy ways for them to do it, and then I check up with them a month or 2 later, and they're not doing it. Home users almost never back up, so I do like using Microsoft OneDrive, so it automatically happens. I set up my grandson with that yesterday. Right when they ask, they say, what's a backup? Home users seem to think computers are reliable. Those of us who work on them know differently. Cloud storage is automatic. People will not back up manually. Have Acronis do a backup every Sunday, then copy the backup to an NVMe and an enclosure. I like to have a second drive in the computer and have either Acronis or, in my case, Macrium, because that's what I'm familiar with, automatically do backups. They don't even know it's happening. Sure, sounds like a good plan with the mini PCs. I know that I'm not reading out names every time. I'm trying to get caught up quickly here. If you want a regular user to have a backup, you have to set up yourself without any user intervention. I've even done scheduled tasks to run a batch file that does a backup to a drive that is always going to be attached. Then sometimes if it's an external drive, sometimes those connections disappear. Up here, you have to add 30% onto those mini PCs for Canadian prices. The first rule of thumb before working on someone's computer, take an image of the system. I always make image backups before I return the computer to a client. Storage on the cloud can't be cheap. They charge by the gigabytes. Actually, it is quite cheap. I find it quite cheap. For
Now,
go ahead.
The service that I use for my dad's website, they do charge by the gigabyte, but that's because it's a special kind of cloud backup service. It's not just for dumping normal files.
Okay, thank you for interrupting me for that little tidbit. My understanding is that Windows 10 will be getting a backup app in the next dates, which collects the various copy to iCloud options in one place. GPU makes the difference. Missed that role. Local backups of Cronus. Deep Thoughts with Alex. Tested renaming extension to TXT. Did not work with the BIOS file William was trying to send. So Wintermute tested that. The renaming to TXT did not solve that. Seldom Ball, my understanding is that the Google Drive does an antivirus scan of uploaded files. I've seen warnings there when it considers too big to be scanned. Lawn Dog to Jim, really like the server video you did. Impressed by what you put together. That drive bay, I think that was a whatchamacallit server. All right, go ahead and give me the word, Jim.
You're talking about NAS?
Yeah, NAS, right. I think that was NAS, not a file server. Give me the drive, we'll take a crack at it. Jim is offering to take that, try recovery on that. Lawn Dog, if you ever come across a box, just kind of like a metal box, that particular quick release cage will fit in and probably be interested. Got to get through these quicker. Too much stuff. I know eventually as this channel grows, it's just not going to happen. Trying to catch something. All right, you're going to have to start putting me in orange. I'm skipping back to Zoom because that's going to take too long. Okay, so I haven't said hello to Dennis first. Say hello there first and then get to Jim. Dennis, hello.
Hello, is my mic working?
Yes, your mic is working. I hear you.
All right, let's try the face.
There it is. We see you, and you're leaving some of yourself to our imagination.
Yeah, same as Twitch.
All right. Welcome. I'm gonna say hello to Jim, then we're gonna go on to your the issue that you emailed me about and show you what I've got. Hello, Jim.
Greetings, kids.
Greetings to you, my friend. All right, let's gotta take a look at this shirt because your shirts are entertaining. I'm gonna spotlight you and you give us your shirt. Okay, spotlight for everyone. Karma takes way too long. I'd rather just smack you right now. Very good. Very good. Back
That's
to
pretty
gallery
good.
view there. Okay, Dennis, you reported that you're having Windows Spotlight is not showing new images. So I went and looked.
It's showing the default white bloom for Windows 11.
Okay, like I'm showing on the YouTube right now with a blue.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, when I went to look at my experience, I had the background there. But that's because I was on picture and because I had the Bing wallpaper installed on both Baby Beast and Big Beast. So as Bing wallpaper, that's giving me new wallpaper every day. So when I went here into personalize, right click on the desktop and personalize, go to background and switch it to Windows Spotlight, then I was getting this default image. So it looks like I'm getting the same experience you were getting with Spotlight.
Yeah, looks like it.
All right. So had you been using Spotlight all along and getting images? You were not using the Bing wallpaper?
I've been using Spotlight since Well, Windows 10 and 11, man, I've never seen it fail like this before.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. It's just not serving any photos.
Have you done any Google search looking for explanation?
One person responded in a Reddit, I think it was, talking about it, but nobody had an answer for him, really.
Now, are your computers Windows 11?
Yes, they're all 11 now.
So when I start doing a Google search for Windows Spotlight, suggested search results includes one of them that says Windows Spotlight now working Windows 11. There's nothing in the search suggestions for Windows 10. How to fix Spotlight not working in Windows 11. This is July 12th, 2023. I haven't done any research on this yet. A lot of users complain about Spotlight not working in Windows 11. What causes the issue? How to fix Windows 11 Spotlight not working? Now, I have no idea if these are general, people trying to give suggestions for a solution, or if these solutions actually worked. So make sure you have an active internet connection. Duh. That sounds pretty minor. Turn off metered connection. No. Uninstalled Bitdefender, no. See, these are all, looks like they're just very generic, just not pursuing somebody's actually having the problem. Re-enable Spotlight. Yeah, and this is re-enabling it for the lock screen, not for
I've already disabled and enabled it several times.
Yeah, so this looks like it's bonehead responses and not on point at all.
I turned my camera off, by the way.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, system file checker scan. Oh boy, it's not gonna work.
I won't be doing that.
No. Apparently Bitdefender was causing problems with it. Here's a YouTube video claiming how to solve it, and I'll just take a look at what they say in here. Not working, wallpaper not changing, stuck on same image. It's not stuck on the same image, it's gone back to the default. What do comments say? Simply brilliant, fix it first time, solve the problem. Thank you, it totally worked, thank you. So this are people claiming that the solutions have helped. Let's just scan through here and see what they are doing. So here in lock screen is Windows Spot. How about lock screen? Is that working on lock screen?
For me, I get that blue image, the default blue image on the lock screen.
All right. And here's a metered network. This looks like not really an impressive solution. Now they're going into PowerShell here for what? Install latest PowerShell. Yeah, this is assets. That looks like a pretty deep fix. Maybe that's got some help. Now, what are they saying? Was this the second solution? Yeah, this is solution number 2. So I'm not going to go through that any further. If people are researching that from the chat room, is anyone else in the chat room having this problem with Windows Spotlight who has their desktop? Now, this desktop background, Windows Spotlight is not available on Windows 10. I don't believe. I don't think you'll have that option there
Yes,
in
it
Windows
is.
10. Oh, it is? Oh.
Yes. Under lock screen, if you change it, you got 3
No.
options.
Not lock screen. Background. There's a difference. Lock screen, yes, Windows 10, Windows Spotlight is available. This is on background, not lock screen.
Well, then you are correct. I apologize.
Yeah, in background, Windows Spotlight is not available Windows 10. I believe you are correct for lock screen that Spotlight is available for Windows 10. So for people out there with Windows 10 and Windows Spotlight on your lock screen. Since Dennis is also having the same problem on the lock screen, is Windows Spotlight working for you, Windows 10, on the lock screen? And people with Windows 11, be sure you're telling us whether you're Windows 11 or Windows 10 before you type it in chat. Windows 10, lock screen Spotlight is working. Windows 10, background Spotlight not working. Windows 11, similar responses. That could be useful so we get an idea how widespread this problem is. Okay. I've got an orange in chat. William Dawson, topic number 8. Lawn Dog, don't use it. That doesn't help us. Never bothered to use it. Yeah, telling us you don't use it doesn't help us. Maybe you could go try it and see if it's working for us. That would be helpful. Then, what? I forgot what I was going to go next. Now, Lawn Dog, my Windows 10 machine, the lock screen is working with Spotlight and for being daily wallpaper. Yeah, I don't think there's any problems reported with being daily wallpaper. Brian Lightfoot, Spotlight working for me on my system for lock screen and background. However, I added myself as an additional user on mini PC yesterday. Spotlight works on lock screen, but not background. Oh, on the other computer, on the mini PC, Spotlight works on lock screen, but not background. So that on my system for lock screen, however, I added myself on mini PC. See, I'm not sure what all that means. Are we talking two different computers here? Spotlight working fine on my system for lock screen and background. However, I added myself as an additional user on mini PC. Is that a separate computer? I don't know why he's explaining mini PC. Spotlight works on lock screen but not background, or is that, oh, both Windows 11, both computers, Windows 11, or both users? I'm confused. Yes, both means two separate computers. They're both Windows 11. So one of the computers, Spotlight does not work on the background. demeanor not working on my Windows 11. So maybe could it be Microsoft is pushing us away from Spotlight, wanting us to use Bing? I'm gonna say at this point we don't know.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
Totally believable that they would push us that way without saying anything. Yes?
Gee, Microsoft's pushing people. Gee, never heard of that one before.
Don't think so? Don't think so? All right. Label Jim as the skeptic about that. Because Microsoft is all up front and above board. Yeah.
Yeah. And if pigs had wings, they'd fly.
Yeah. Martin Hogg asked, did we resolve the Ethernet problem raised by Aiden? No, he's planning to come on, give us a remote connection next Saturday, come into Zoom with us, and we're going to pursue that issue. He has given me more information that I haven't told you about yet. I'm going to hold that off because I think it's more interesting for us to do that live. One Dog, yes, Doug, I'm thinking in that direction. Microsoft wants to use Bing wallpaper. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Now, somebody asked for a topic. Go ahead.
Question for Jim real quick.
Yeah.
I know a while back you had kept your computer, your TPM on when your computer's turned on, trying to see if you upgraded to Windows 11. Did that ever happen?
No. I mean, it comes up with constant reminders that Windows 11 is available. The very last patch Tuesday, when the machine rebooted, it did the same thing where, here's Windows 11 ready for you. And it's like, go away. So it hasn't installed itself automatically, if that's what you're referring to. No, it's never done that.
Yes. That's what I was wondering.
I've got something a photo that I'm going to bring up here related to the Windows Spotlight issue, because I told you that I had Baby Bee set up for Bing wallpaper, and I had to switch it for background to be Windows Spotlight, and I got this message. This message came apparently from Bing wallpaper. We noticed the background changed, means I changed it from picture, which the background has to be set to picture for Bing wallpaper to work. Bing wallpaper inserts a new picture every day. So when I changed it from picture to Windows Spotlight, it gave me this message. We notice the background change daily refresh has been switched off. So it turned off the daily refresh for Bing wallpaper. When I first saw this message, I was thinking, is that a clue to what's going on for Dennis? And I don't think so, because that's in a message that's exclusive to Bing wallpaper.
I don't have that app installed.
Yeah, so you wouldn't have had that, and you had successful Windows Spotlight as your background successfully for a long period of time. Then it just stopped working.
Yeah.
All right, and it also stopped working for your lock screen.
Right. Well, on two computers it has failed, but I have one where it is working, so I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, it is working for the lock screen.
For one of them.
That's interesting.
The other two are not working.
Can you identify any significant difference that stands out to you?
It might be showing. It might be using a old photo that was already in the cache. That's what I'm guessing.
Oh, has it changed photos since you discovered the problem symptom on the other computers?
Yeah, I don't think it's changed the photo.
Ah, all right.
So,
all right. And let's see. When you're using Windows Spotlight, yeah, it has those things that you can click on for more information, and you can say that you like these photos on the lock screen. Are those emblems showing up on that lock screen?
Oh, I get text in 3 different locations on the lock screen if it's working. I am getting something on the one that hasn't changed the photo.
So you are still getting that.
I'm still getting messages for that photo because that text is specific for that photo.
Now in the upper right corner, if you click that you don't like this image, it's supposed to instantly change to something else. Almost instantly. It takes several seconds to change. And if
I wonder if Zoom works while I'm in lock screen. Let's find out.
Okay.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm in lock screen. I'm gonna say I don't like Badlands National Park. Let's change it.
Yeah.
See what it does. We're waiting. Okay, the text reset itself, but the photo did not do anything.
It might take a little while. You might even have to go out of the lock screen and back into lock screen before you see the new image. I don't know what triggers the new image to come up, but you should be able to get it to come up before very long.
All right, we'll just wait. I'll wait a little bit.
All right. Lawn Dog, what's the big deal? And not using Bing wallpaper, I just look up the differences between the two. It's very minor, like how you turn it off by using a Nikon or an icon. I asked Bing's artificial intelligence a question about is Microsoft pushing its customers towards Bing wallpaper instead of using Spotlight. Gave me an interesting answer, quite lengthy. Basically, they're not pushing. It's a lot of discussion around it. I think, he asked Bing about it. Incredible how it found articles in seconds to read. Wintermute tested encrypted zip without exe attached to an email fine, I assume Gmail. Encrypted zip with exe blocked for security reasons. Was that with a Gmail account, Wintermute? Okay, somebody asks topic 8, right? Was it 8 that was asked? Let's see who asked for that. Oh, I can't. Searching for 8 is going to get me too much. I don't know where that was. Yeah, topic number 8 from William Dawson. All right. Switch to my list of topics because I have it popped out in a separate Separate window. 8. Oh, the plan for Nuke and Pave on Big Beast build. I have never told you. I have never announced yet that I'm kind of sort of thinking I'm going to be doing a Nuke and Pave on Big Beast build. I got to see Jim's reaction. Wait to hear what's going on here. So you know that the crash symptoms for Zoom changed once I upgraded from Windows 10 to Windows 11. If I turn on a virtual background or blur the background, it'll take a couple minutes before the entire computer locks up, freezes. So that's a different symptom. I also, with Windows 10, it would lock up immediately. But now I have enough time to change it back if I choose to. But XSplit is messing up. When I try to exit XSplit after doing a recording or a live stream, it fails to exit. I have to end task. It doesn't lock up the computer. I gotta say, there were 2 other symptoms that are just not right. And I have told before that I'm reluctant to do a wipe and reload because I got so much stuff to install. And that's true. It's going to be a big, long, difficult thing. And part of the process is I'm probably going to list out what I want to reinstall. And I don't want to reinstall it all at once because I'm afraid what happens if I still have the same problem after I've installed all this stuff. I don't know what caused the problem. So I've got kind of a plan in mind how to go about it, and it gives me the opportunity to set things up a little differently. And a way that I can stretch it out over time, where I don't have to do it all in one stretch of work. So the plan, what I've got in mind the end result. Let's start with the end result. The end result, this computer has 2 M.2 slots on the motherboard, and looking through the manual, I can set them up as RAID 0. Well, I'm attracted to that because RAID 0 is going to give me faster performance. Now, I can do it in a way that I can test if I really like that. I'm not going to start out with RAID 0. I'll start out with just doing the fresh install on one of the M.2 drives. The second M.2 drive, I want to have my current C drive, my current bootable operating system as an alternate boot so that I can have a multi-boot system during the time that it takes me to get it all set up. So I'll start on the fresh install of Windows 11 to have a certain inventory of things that I need to operate. For instance, it would be XSplit and Zoom to be enough that I can do the Saturday sessions, but not all the rest of the stuff. But on the second drive, I can reboot to my current C drive for as long as I need. That way I can be testing on the fresh install and see if I reproduce those symptoms. Now, one of the reasons for going this route is I know a few symptoms that I have now that are not right. Well, I could call Zoom, tech support, work with them. They might be taking me through their scripted troubleshooting before I get advanced to somebody else. That's going to be a very frustrating experience for me. And even if that's successful, well, I still got the problem with XSplit. And I think I have some problems with the Beat Saber with that system as well. Occasionally that crashes and sometimes it glitches. We know that software, when you install it, some of them have some awareness whether they're installing a Windows 11 or Windows 10, and they install differently based upon your operating system. So if I do a wipe and reload and get everything cleanly installed on Windows 11, I know that that is a healthier long-term solution. Just nobody's paying me to do that. But I'm thinking that's the way it's going to go. Now, another piece that is unique about this motherboard that's not being utilized right now, is totally ignored, that I'm interested in seeing how it goes, is the DIMM.2 slot. The DIMM.2 slot, for those of you who don't remember, it's what looks like an extra memory slot. It's an extra DIMM slot, but it's not for memory. There's a riser board that came with a motherboard for that mounts an M.2, an NVMe drive on it. This 8 terabyte NVMe that I'm currently running on, my thought there is to put that in that DIMM.2 slot, use that for my data drive. So I would have like two 1 terabyte NVMe's mounted on the motherboard for some period of time. One of them will be the fresh install of Windows. The other one will be my current C drive. Now the EFI partition would have to be on one of those. And pick which one. And that EFI partition ought to be, I think, on the NVMe drive that has the fresh install of Windows 11, because that's what I intend to be the long-term solution. So the second drive would have a restored image of my current C drive. And I don't quite know how to configure I've got ideas how it's done, but I don't know how it's done to configure the EFI partition on the fresh install NVMe so that I can have the multi-boot capability. And I'm thinking I would probably do that so that I use msconfig to select which drive I want to boot to rather than it happen at boot time. I have very little experience in switching back and forth between boot drives. Now,
Yeah,
suppose if you say that again.
I have none.
Okay.
So
yeah. Well, I think it'd be an interesting thing to go down that road. So eventually, let's say I get the fresh Windows 11 installation built up so it has enough that I'm willing to go full time with that. Then what I would do is, I would have image backups happening all along. So I would have a current image backup of the old C drive, which is Windows 11, and then wipe out that M.2 and configure it to be the second drive of a RAID 0. And then immediately I'll be able to compare how is the performance differences for what I do. I don't care about some kind of a hard drive speed test. I don't care about what Crystal Diskmark says. I care about, does it make a difference in what I do? It could be, particularly in doing exporting videos that I've put together, that particularly might be faster. The launch times for softwares might be faster, since it's the C drive that'll be on those drives. All of my data on the DIMM.2 8 terabyte drive. Now that's going to be split up in separate partitions. So there'll be a partition for my live data, there'll be a partition for my backups, and a partition for my cloud storages. That I'll have my OneDrive, my iCloud, and my Google Drive synchronized to there. And those won't be backed up because those will be backed up in the cloud. And if I want to back up those cloud storages, I'll use Magnusbox, which does a direct backup of the cloud storages from the cloud. Magnusbox doesn't do the backup from my hard drives. I think that kind of covers it. And that will happen over months. And it would probably be a month or two before I start it. Because to start all that, the first step of that would be shut down this computer, take out the graphics card because I can't get to the M.2 slots that are on the motherboard while the graphics card is in place. And I have to shut down Baby Beast, so I can't use Baby Beast to record it. I might do a cell phone recording of the work. Jim looks a little sideways. I have removed cards from Big Beast while Baby Beast is running, but for doing this much, I don't want to do that. Take out, I want to move that 8 terabyte drive into the DIMM.2 slot. Basically, I want to do all the hardware switch at one time. So put in both of the new 1 terabyte NVMe drives on the motherboard, put in the riser slot for the DIMM.2, mount the 8 terabyte board there, put the graphics card back in, fire it up to a Macrium Reflect USB boot, restore the C drive, the EFI partition, the C drive that was backed up from the 8 terabyte drive onto one of those two M.2 drives, and then get to a functioning computer there. If that doesn't work the way that I think it will work, then I will probably have to unwrap all that and regroup. And Jim, you were correct in your comments the other day that I don't consider myself a hardware person. I know my limitations here. But
Yeah. Man's got to know his limitations.
Yeah.
That's what I tell myself every time I get into one of these computer repairs. I don't consider even though most of the time it seems like I end up replacing at least a hard drive or some RAM or something. Tell myself every time, I definitely don't consider myself a hardware person, because when I start doing it, I realize just how difficult it can be sometimes, especially in the little tight confined spaces of HP and Dell machines.
Right. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
As I started contemplating doing this, I went to the motherboard manual to try to better understand the issue where when you're using a CPU 44, what was that? 44, it's not 44 thread, 44 lanes, 44 lane CPU, which is what mine is. I'm using a 44 lane CPU. That DIMM.2 conflicts with PCI 3x4, I think it is. So there's that aspect that we've already kind of been through on this channel to be sure that what I have in those slots is going to work with using the DIMM.2 slot this way. And there's a piece of that understanding I'm not quite there yet, but I think what the motherboard manual was referring to is the PCIe slot that's the short one. I think that's the X4, but I'm not sure if that's what they meant, because they said when using PCIe in an X4 mode, that's the piece that conflicts. Well, if I have a short card in one of the other slots I'm thinking is then being used in an X4 mode. That's an area that I'm really unsure of. While Jim is doing some research there, I'll go catch up with some people that hit me in orange in chat. Selden Ball, have you considered using containers? And I'm not sure what that is in reference to. Bobby Warren, can you look at Tim's girlfriend Patricia's computer? That's Bobby Warren to me, Tim's girlfriend Patricia's computer. I'm open to looking at anybody's computer, but that request needs to come from Tim, not from Bobby. Then the next orange, my understanding is that RAID configurations are likely to get erased if you do a BIOS update. Well, yeah, I'd still be doing backups. You can do, if I have the C drive spread across 2 drives in RAID 0, when you do a backup, that totally negates the fact that they were stored on RAID. When you do the backup, that can be restored to a single drive or to a RAID configuration. So the backups are still valid. The RAID configuration could get erased, and all you do in that instance is go back into UEFI setup and reconfigure the RAID. You just choose the menu options. So once you understand how that works, I don't think it's difficult to accomplish. Dennis, still no change in Badlands National Park. Okay, so the image is still not changed, which makes me think that is broken on the lock screen. even though it's still showing the old one. Let's see. Get a headache. Dennis, I caramba, taking dishes to kitchen. Be right back. Essentially working too hard. If it's really broken, don't. If it is really not broken, don't fix it. And I don't know if that's referring to Big Beast build or what. Okay. I have not read through all of those because it just takes too long. Jim, did you get anywhere with you? Looked like you were searching.
I was just typing comments into the YouTube chat.
Oh, all right.
I have my reservations about restoring an image that we know or we suspect is problematic onto another drive.
Okay. If it boots and functions the same, then it works. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. It's not a very time-consuming thing to try. So what are the reservations? I'm not getting
You
it.
have an existing install on the 8 terabyte drive.
Yeah.
That we're not sure whether or not there's something wrong with it or not.
Right.
I mean, you will notice my background is blurred.
Yeah.
It's been blurred for a while.
Yeah.
I'm not having any freezes, I'm not having any things going on. But I don't run exactly the same hardware that you are running.
Right.
So
now, Alice reports that she is having the same symptom that I am. So that's one person.
Mm-hmm.
If it was only the Zoom issue, then I might not be interested in going down this road. Might not be as interested. But I do also have the XSplit issue. Now, XSplit also has a virtual camera. And the virtual camera always has an element in the background. Could it be that the existence of that virtual camera, since Zoom can see it, is that the actual source of the trouble?
Is the virtual camera active at the time that Zoom is running?
No. I mean, it's not selected, but
Okay.
the virtual cam is showing in the notification panel. And if I exit it, I think I have tested this where I exit it from the notification panel and still have the symptom in Zoom. But closing something from the notification panel does not necessarily remove all of the background software that might be present. So I don't trust that completely. If it gave me a positive result, if it did make a difference, then that tells me something. If it doesn't make a difference, then that's inconclusive.
Okay. One other question I would have for you: when was the last time you updated the graphics driver?
Recently, when I discovered the problem, I checked on the graphics driver, but someone has since then suggested checking to see if there's a firmware update for the graphics card. I have not got around to that yet.
Okay. You could investigate that. I don't know that would necessarily fix it, but there's no reason not to try it.
Right. And there is reason to try that even if I'm going to do a rebuild, because if there is a firmware update for it, then I should be doing that update. If I do that update before the rebuild, that's not work down the drain, because a firmware update goes to the card. If I then do a wipe and reload, install Windows 11, that firmware update is still present.
Right.
So,
Hey, Doug,
yes, Josh.
how do I blur my background if I want to test this?
Not all computers are capable of blurring the background. If your computer's not capable of it, Zoom won't give you that choice. Down in, let's see, I guess I can, if I show my monitor number 3. Okay, so now you're seeing my monitor number 3 the way I see it.
Hold on.
And then, so you're bringing up YouTube on your phone, it looks like. Give you a moment. Now, if the symptom is developed further, maybe when I even go into that screen where I can select it, we're going to crash the stream. Tell me when you're ready, Josh.
Good.
All right.
I've been messing with mine. I haven't had any crashes here.
All right. Down in the bottom left corner where it says Stop Video, click on that up arrow to get the menu. And then there's these options here for blur my background or choose virtual background. Now, I'm not going to click on blur my background because that will set me up for the crash symptom, which since I installed upgrade to Windows 11, it appears to take a couple minutes before that crashes the computer. Does it, you know what? Does it crash the computer or just Zoom? I'm not certain about that. But if you choose virtual background, then that takes you into this menu, which includes the blur option. Or you could choose any of those other virtual backgrounds. If these aren't clickable, then that means your computer's not capable of it.
Well, number one, I'm not finding in the room, so it probably won't even work.
I don't know if you have to be signed in for that.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Did you, when you click on that up arrow next to stop video, do you see those options that I'm pointing to? Blur my background, choose virtual background, or choose video filter?
I have a graphic something. I see a check mark on the bottom, and I'm where they've enabled.
Why don't you, can you share your screen?
Yeah.
Let's do that. I might have to turn on screen sharing. Give me a moment. Let's see. That is multiple one participant. No, it's turned on. Let's see. No, it's not. Okay, screen share is on now. Let's see. I think I need it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's not going to work. You're trying to share your screen.
Yeah, you can't.
Doesn't really work.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't work. It's not going to work. We could do it by connecting remotely to your computer. But
I'm just curious if I have the symptom too, that's all.
All right. So where I'll go to here. So now I'll go back to here. So when you click on that up arrow next to stop video, the bottom item on that menu should say video settings. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, what's the next item above that?
Choose video blur.
Should be choose video filter.
Yeah, that's it.
Dennis, you're not showing your round circle. What's the next one above that?
Choose video background.
It should be choose virtual background.
Choose virtual background.
Okay, click on that.
Okay, so virtual background none. Virtual background BLUR.
That's the one to click on for blur. BLUR. That's the one to click on for blur. If you click on that, that's going to blur your background. All right. Yep. So that works for you.
Okay.
Well, we know that it works. Whether or not it eventually locks it up, we don't know yet.
True. For me, with Windows 10, it was locking up immediately. With Windows 11, it took a little while. Let's see, we've got to turn off his share screen. I got to get to it.
Looking at myself with my background blurred, and I'm like, Diane, you ain't got no legs.
Yeah, that's a problem. I thought, didn't we turn off his sharing? Why is this still showing up on my Zoom meeting as shared? Let's do this.
I see your share screen on YouTube.
Yeah, I know. You're seeing his.
Yes, it's his screen, I think.
Yeah, it's Josh's screen, but I don't have an option to stop his sharing because that window is not visible to me anywhere.
Weird.
How?
Ouch.
Josh, at the top of your screen, I think there's an item that says stop sharing. Can you click on that?
I don't have anything like that.
This is weird.
Bottom center has a green share screen.
Not on my end.
Yeah, that green share screen is on my Zoom.
Okay.
One participant. How about if I turn off allow participants to share screen? Does that get rid of it? XSplit is showing my Zoom meeting
Nope.
as being the shared screen, but when I look over at my Zoom meeting window, it is not that. Oh, I know. Josh, move your mouse around on your screen. Are you moving it?
Yep.
That's a frozen image.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my Zoom is frozen, which I think that was a symptom that Ken was having, where after having a shared screen. There we go. So I had to switch back to my Zoom main window and then back to the meeting. That did it. All right. Catching up with people who hit me in orange. Seldom ball. My perhaps mistaken understanding is that software in a container could be run without having to reinstall the software on the computer. You mean like a virtual computer? Is that what you're referring to? Oh, no. Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, programs can be run in a container that isolates them from the rest of your operating system so that, like, if you're trying to deal with a suspect virus or something like that, I don't see any reason to go down that road. Greg, to me, are you using DOCP and XMP for memory in that machine? How old is the firmware for the motherboard? We've done firmware updates for this motherboard during the last year, at least. DOCP, XMP, I believe, is turned on. That's to get the faster speed.
XMP is for some things. DOCP is something that ASUS tends to use, especially on AMD. So
all right,
they essentially are the same thing.
All right. I can't say with any with much authority that those are on. Now, I guess he's just fishing. That's
Task Manager would tell you.
Oh, for XMP? All right.
Yes. It would tell you what speed the RAM's actually running at.
Oh, all right. So I've got it up now. Go to Performance tab, I imagine, and the Memory button, and 2400. That sounds like it's off. That sounds like
that sounds like it's off.
All right.
Because 2400 is the default speed, I believe, for DDR. That's DDR4, if I remember correctly. I can't see that too well. I'd have to expand it.
All right. Yeah, this screen doesn't tell us that it's DDR4 or not.
No, but the 2400 kind of gives it away.
All right.
I'm pretty sure it's DDR4 because that's the default speed. Typically, the default speed for DDR5 is like 4800 or something of that nature.
Okay, so Londog has a thought here, just a flash thought. Why not turn off your backgrounds and make them black and see what happens with this problem you're trying to resolve? Seems quick and simple. Yeah, that sounds like a quick and simple test. But if the problem still exists, or if it doesn't exist, what does that tell you? Whichever answer you get, where does that take you? I don't see that it takes you. Now, last time I asked that question to the chat room, somebody came up with an answer. just to see what happens. Maybe nothing. And I don't feel attracted to that if there's no theory of what direction I'm going to go after that. There are commercial equivalents to containers apps anywhere. It's used my pre-retirement employer to avoid installing software. So what are you suggesting, that I run XSplit in a container or running Zoom in a container? And then again, if that solves the problem, where does that take me? If it doesn't solve the problem, where does that take me? My understanding of containers is it's not going to perform as well because it's kind of a scaled down virtual computer. Creates a separate operating environment. I don't feel very attracted to that. Apps Anywhere lets an unprivileged user install and uninstall prepackaged software without having privileges. Well, I am a privileged user, so we don't have that problem. No other topics have been, if anyone has requested other topics and I just didn't see you because you didn't hit me in orange, then you'll need to hit me in orange. I just cannot read through everything. I'm kind of scanning through. For your information, Dennis, after the show's over, I'm planning to go up to North Fork. So this afternoon's Fortnite will be from the lower capability laptop up there.
No problem.
Well, no problem for you. It has been a little bit of a problem for me because it has not performed quite as well.
Hey, Doug.
Yes, Josh.
Yeah. Oh,
Thinking of Fortnite, I've had that problem with the radio where you can't hit the turn off the radio.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're not going to pursue that during this show.
No, I'm just saying I've had that problem.
Yeah. I think you told us that. It seems like you told us that in chat.
I have not seen that problem myself.
Might as well tell the audience a little bit about it. When we're playing Fortnite, we can get in a car and drive it. Automatically, the radio turns on. When I give the command to turn the radio off, because it's usually a nuisance, I hit the button to turn it off. It goes off for a moment and comes back on. And Josh says he's been having that same problem. Dennis is not. It's a Fortnite problem. It is not a computer problem. So Selden says, sorry, I was thinking about all the software you said you have to reinstall. Once containerized, you wouldn't have to reinstall it if you have to wipe more than once. Really? That doesn't make sense. If you install it in a container and then you do a Nuke Pave, you're going to have to reinstall it in the container. Once containerized, you wouldn't have to reinstall it if you wipe and reload? I don't understand that at all. That doesn't make sense.
How exactly would the containerization of XSplit affect your webcam and microphone and all that sort of things? I think it would make it so that you would not be able to use your webcam or microphone in XSplit at first glance.
Agreed, because I think that having it in a container prevents that program from accessing anything else on your computer until you somehow configure it to be able to access those other devices. So yeah, I don't think that's a. And now I haven't dealt with containers. I don't know, but I don't feel attracted to that. Speedy C asked for topic 6. Let's go see what topic 6 is. This one. YouTube, transcript, and closed captions features. Oh, yes, because I gave some incorrect information about this when I was pursuing that. During a Windows Daily show, somebody was asking, I think Josh was asking, how to turn transcription on. And I was fussing around with that a little bit. And it turns out, as near as I can tell, you don't turn it on. It's automatic from YouTube. And my evidence for that is when I go to Ken Stout's show, for instance, I think he asked about turning it on. It's already on. I don't think he's ever turned it on. If I go to one of his videos, If YouTube is doing closed captioning, then transcripts will be there. So here's Ken's show, and let's see, dismiss that. If I click on the closed captioning and play his video, let's see, I've got it muted. Do I have it turned on? Oh, no, got to play it. Go in a ways. Let's make this bigger so I can figure out what's going on. There's the captions. As they're talking, we can see captions towards the bottom of the screen. I don't want to move my mouse over there because it shows up those thumbnail videos. If captions are happening on your video, then transcript will be available. That's my understanding at this point. So now turning captions on or off is for the user to do. YouTube automatically does closed captioning if it can, because YouTube wants to know what you're talking about. That helps YouTube algorithm suggest your video to people who might be interested in what you're talking about. If YouTube is unable to figure out what you're saying, then you'll find closed captions are not available. Now, if closed captions are available, then you should be able to come to this three-dot menu and see Show Transcript. And that's going to allow people to, users, the end users, are going to be able to see the transcript through here. If you are the content creator, you might have an interest in getting the transcript without these timestamps, and there is a way to do that. Because I was thinking at one point that I might want to put the full text of my shows onto my website. I haven't really pursued developing the website at all, but let me come over here to my channel. I'm currently signed out. Here we go again. YouTube signed me out. This has happened a few times during the show. Go figure out why. Take that off the screen. Well, other stuff. Yeah, my things here are okay to show that list. This will get me signed in. Over on the left-hand panel, when you're in the YouTube studio, left-hand panel, there's subtitles. And here's all your videos. This is showing all your videos with that have channel subtitles. So you can come down to, let's see, these are, that says all video. These look like, these are really old videos. Why is it showing those? Yeah, 2019, 2021. If I click on drafts, there's no drafts. If I click on published, how about, why are these so old? Oh, down here at the bottom. Yeah, we're seeing my oldest ones. They're showing in chronological order apparently. Yeah, it's got a icon for me to click on to get to the first page. It does not have an icon for me to get to the last page. YouTube has been really. Oh, I see. I'm on the wrong channel. When I log in, it always logs me into my personal channel. That's what's going on. So click on Switch Account, go to LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts. Then on the left-hand side, go to Subtitles. Yeah, here we're seeing recent stuff. That's what's going on. And then I can come down here to Windows Daily. And if I click on that, this takes me to English automatic captions and video language. If I get over here to the three-dot menu, I can download the entire transcript. So I'll click on download. Now these different extensions, I haven't actually done that yet. Add language. Duplicate and edit. Ah, here we go. This gets me into the transcript. Now the inconvenient thing here, it doesn't show those timestamps, but it also doesn't show sentences or paragraph breaks. It just shows the raw words. But you can copy it all from here and you can correct it. You can come in here and do corrections for words that weren't right, because it doesn't always get them right. After you do the corrections, then you can click publish. If you want, you can edit the timings in here by clicking Edit Timings. Now you get the timestamps. So you could go click on a section here, and using these playhead sliders, change where that text appears during the replay of the video. So let's see if I can actually click on play here. Video comments that come to me by email and the questions that come in the chat room. We'll respond to your questions regarding Windows computer issues. So you can use this screen to find the errors if you care about making those corrections. Okay, discard changes. Is that all I had in mind for covering for this? Where was those topics? The topics were here, here. Nope, this wasn't my show. Here, this is it. YouTube transcript closed caption features. Yeah, so I went poking around looking for a place to turn closed captions on or off, or transcription on and off. I did not find it. So it apparently is automatic. Now Josh's channel does not have transcripts, and I'm going to have to deduce there that Josh, they just aren't able to understand what you're saying. Let's see. I thought I had Josh on the. Oh, I have Josh here.
Why doesn't my channel have it, Doug?
Well, your speech isn't clear enough, Josh. You have your speech. You're not enunciating clearly enough.
Okay.
So that's why you would have to really enunciate very clearly for it to be able to translate, because it is using artificial intelligence, and that's just a deduction. Now we could perhaps prove that. Why am I not? I got to get to Josh's channel. Oh, here's Josh's channel. That just took me to your most recent. These are all notify me. So I got to get to a video that has been published. And here the CC is grayed out. And it says subtitles, closed captions unavailable. And I think it's just, I did read that if YouTube is able to understand what, or able to translate what you're saying, then closed captions are available. All right.
Huh. That's weird.
Oh, wow. Lots of orange. Topic 6. Virtual machines stored in separate directories. These directories can be restored. Virtual machines can be accessible. Yes, virtual machines can. And I have my virtual machines stored on separate drives, I believe. In fact, yeah, I know I do. If I bring it up, my File Explorer here, here, I have this M drive. Here's my virtual machines stored on a different drive. So yes, I could restore them that way. It's the same with containers. I think containers are something different. Apps Anywhere containers are kept on a server. There are no user configurable options when a package is installed on a client. So that's installed on a web server, I guess. That's even slower performance. Yikes. That's more unattractive. The user selects the desired app from the menu. It's loaded into the client computer from the server once. Then it's available to the user decides otherwise. Yeah, again, I don't see how that helps troubleshoot the problem here. Dennis Hexon is playing Fortnite with a pickaxe and rocket ram as the only weapons. Winner of the tournament they are playing wins $500 US. Wow. Seldom Ball. Packaging the software isn't all that easy, though. It requires using a minimal fresh install of the operating system, which is not included in the container. Even more detracted from using that. Lack of Windows Spotlight problem solved by Brian Lightfoot. It took a minor registry hack, tested on my mini PC, and it instantly worked. All right, give us a link or something. Ida, on Chinese Korean translations, usually pronouns are all wrong for closed captioning. Seldom Ball, All in all, it's more work than a single new install of the software. It's a big time saver if many installs are anticipated. Those having a Spotlight issue, I saw this video has some interesting tidbits of information. I want a link from Brian's solution. Yes, rest in peace, Jimmy Buffett and former Governor Bill Richardson both died today. I before the show started, I watched a few different videos of Margaritaville by Jimmy Buffett. Rest in peace. All right, I'm back on Zoom room. Oh, here's Brian Lightfoot. First response, he says, answers.microsoft.com, directly from Microsoft. Lock screen Windows Spotlight still not working, but just for me. This is the person having the problem. We get to the first answer. I am Paulo. I would like to help. I have experienced this problem as well. Oh, man, golden words. Love to see that when somebody's giving an answer. I've had this problem as well, and my fix was to allow first the changing of the lock screen background in the registry editor before re-registering it. Open the registry editor, navigate to this path, create a D word, and name it as no changing lock screen, then set its value to 0. Next is to re-register it using the link you used from 11 Forum. If that still didn't fix the problem, I suggest you use this app from Microsoft Store as an alternative way to manage Windows Spotlight, and this has never failed me. Now, is this the one that Brian is saying? He's saying first response. This is the first response, but they have two different ways. So I'm thinking he made reference before to the registry. Took a minor registry hack. So I will show how to do that. Windows key R, reg edit, enter yes to user account control, and we're in the registry. Now, for safety's sake, you could first start out by going to the file menu, then export, and make sure this is on all. Change it from selected branch to all. And what I do for a full registry backup is C:\reg- and then I use a date code 2023-0902- before reg fix for Spotlight. Now this is going to back up the entire registry. So if you blow something up, you could go restore this full registry backup if you can restart the computer successfully. I regularly do registry backups. The only times that I've had to restore is when I choose to undo the backup that I did. Now you see this hourglass here. It takes a few seconds depending upon how large your registry is. Now we have a place that we need to go to. Let's get these. Let's see if since Ken Stout still doesn't get this, I got this window active. Hold down the Windows key, right arrow key. It goes over to the right side of the panel. Let go of the Windows key. Then you should see all your other windows available. And then click on what you want to fill the left half of the screen. Every time I've seen Ken try to do this, he's not doing it the way I taught. So Ken, if you do it the way I taught, it'll work for you. Probably. Maybe. A chance. Navigate to this path. Now I should be able to, let's see, how do I copy and paste to get to that path? So I highlighted that, Control C, and then click up here in this bar up at the top, this address bar. Control V for paste, and then press enter. Should take me right to that place. It can be difficult to see where that is because this left-hand panel doesn't scroll to the right place. It seems to me it's usually just a little bit above or below. I'm not seeing it, so I'm going to have to pay attention. I'm looking for, there's the open folder. So scrolled up a little bit to find the highlighted folder. So I am at H key local machine software, Microsoft reliability. Oop, that's not where we're supposed to be. H key local software policies, Microsoft personalization. Try that again. Highlight that. Control V to paste. There, this is showing the right path. Oh, you know what? It might not be finding it if that path doesn't exist. I've seen that before. Yeah, it didn't get there. Didn't go there. Let me try again and backspace over the word personalization. Enter. Still didn't take me there.
You might need the word compare with a backslash in front.
Oh, all right. All right. Yeah,
or not
maybe
in front. After the word compare, you should have a backslash, and then put your path.
Okay, see, yeah, right here, computer. So if I select this part and leave the word computer, and then Control V, yeah, that looks good. Does it? Nope, still didn't work.
It must not exist then.
H key local machine, backspace over personalization. Now, when I get back this far, since it's highlighting suggestions, that tells me that the Windows key does exist. But I'll look down here, personalization does not exist. Now, I'll enter there. Did it go to it? Policies, Microsoft Windows. Microsoft. It still is policies, Microsoft Windows. Yes, it did get there. Personalization does not exist. Yeah, down here. Personalization does not exist. So do they tell us to create it if it doesn't exist? They do not. Create a D word. So I've had this many times before where it doesn't already exist. So right click on Windows and then select New and select Key and then type personalization. And I'd actually prefer to do a copy and paste there to be certain I've typed it right. So personalization is under the Windows key. So there's Windows / personalization. And then they want us to create a D word. So I'll right click in this blank area, choose new, choose D word. Now when you start working in the registry, it can be a little confusing, D word or keyword. Well, they'd said D word. They gave us an instruction, D word. So click on that. And then the name, its name on the left-hand side of my screen as no changing lock screen. So I'm going to highlight that on the left panel, Control C, and then click in this new value field, click once more. So it's, I have to right click apparently and click rename, and then Control V to paste that new name. So there's the name. On the left-hand side, these instructions over here, set its value to 0. Well, it defaults to 0. I'll double-click on it. We see there the value is 0. Then they say next is to re-register it using the link you used from 11 forum. Where was their link from 11 forum?
The original post has that link.
Yeah, I see it. I've tried to reset and re-register Spotlight using tips like this. So I'll click on that link for 11 forum. The requested page could not be found. Let's look a little closer and see if did that copy, and yeah, it includes the parentheses. See in that address field, it included the parentheses. That's what it couldn't find. So I'll delete the parenthesis from both sides. It was only on the end of it. So now I'll do Control A and do another Control C. So I have that copied. Yes, that got me there. Windows Spotlight, looking for the registration, re-register. Reset and re-register. They got a batch file for doing this re-register. Save the bat file to your desktop, unblock and run the bat file, restart the computer. So I'll click download. There's the download. And it doesn't have to go to the desktop. I'm going to click on this folder icon, although I'm going to take that off screen just for a moment. See if I have any client names recently downloaded. No. So here's this batch file. I'm going to right click on it and choose open. I want to edit. I want to open it with Notepad. Or is that going to? Yep, that just ran it. Let's see. Windows 11. How do I tell it? So it just ran it. Hold down the Shift key and left click and then edit to see what that batch file does. Sean Brink created it March 16th, 2022, showing where he's posting it, and it deletes as a folder from a couple of folders from user profile, and then re-registers, uses PowerShell to perform the re-register. This hyphen register at the end is what's doing it. So double click on that. I'm doing it again. Now I could shift, right click, choose edit, because I'd like to see better what it's doing. Where did it didn't open up? Edit. Come on. This is another symptom. Oh, it's in the background. Never mind. It's not another symptom. Come down here to the bottom and put in the word pause, and then save that, and then rerun that. And so with the pause command, we'll be able to see what happened. It did this deletion. It doesn't give us a confirmation of the deletion. That's okay. DOS prompt doesn't give us it only gives us a response if it fails to find the item to delete. There's a delete file here, and then here running this command, so we didn't get any error messages during that. So that is supposed to, or that's the fix that Brian found success with. So Dennis will be eager to hear how that works for you. Oh, wait a minute, I should do that on Baby Beast, because Baby Beast is having that symptom. Yeah. Put a 1 in chat if you want me to demonstrate it on Baby Beast. Put a 0 if you don't want me to demonstrate it. I'm just going to go through all that over again. I already did it. So if people don't really need to see me do that on Baby Beast, I see some zeros. Okay, good. I also saw Jim rubbing his forehead. No, don't do that. I'm not sure if that's what you meant. All right. Yeah, we had a couple of ones. I'm going to go with 0 because that's my inclination, and the 0's actually won the day there.
0101
from Zavi. Dennis says he's going to run the batch first, as I've done a similar procedure before for Windows 10. All right. Starting to wind down. If nobody's got other issues or of my published issues or questions coming up, we're going to start running winding this down.
Nothing from me. Thanks a lot.
All right, you're welcome. Be eager to know if that works for you. Brian did not. All right. Brian did not run the batch file. He merely used settings to reselect Spotlight. So apparently the registry change and reboot. Did you have to restart the computer, Brian? Usually a registry change requires restarting. Oh, there's Ken Stout giving some responses. Yeah. Brian Lightfoot, check Windows settings, personalization, background, clicked off Spotlight and onto picture, then back to Spotlight. Exit settings. Ken Stout, in my studio when setting up for tonight's stream, I have the option of turning on or off closed captions. Oh, do you? I thought I went looking through that. Let's maybe, I think I even went through it. All right, let's go look at, I'm currently signed out of Studio. All right, now if with a show that's already running, I don't think I get to see that. So he's saying when he is creating the show for tonight, he has an option for closed captions. So if I come back here and create a new stream, let's see, September 1st was yesterday, so I can create for Monday's show, 285, and he's saying in here there's an option for turning off closed captioning. There's an option for live chat replay. I know. Don't have anything here for closed captioning. The next page, nothing here for closed captioning. Live chat, that's not closed captioning. That's a different thing entirely. Live reactions, that's not closed captioning. So, oh, he's here. Hello, Ken.
Thanks. Finally, man. I've been sitting here so long, my beard grew white. Hi, Doug, Jim, William, Alex.
Hey,
Dennis.
Grew white. What are you talking about, Wallace?
Doug, may I share my screen?
Whoops. What the hell happened?
He went to the waiting room.
It took me a second to figure out what happened.
First thing off the bat, he's ranting against me. Isn't that what he does on his show? If somebody does that first thing off the bat, sends them to the waiting room, right?
Oh, God. Oh, you enjoyed that, I bet, way too much.
I did. Let's see. I thought I'd have to go turn the waiting room on because my waiting room's not on by default. I've heard that, but I did not have to enable it.
So because I respect and have my YouTube muted, I have no clue what you did when you threw me under the bus. May I share my screen before you put me back in the waiting room?
Hello, Ken.
Thanks for interrupting me. Hello, Alex.
So you're right. It
disabled.
reminds me of you putting me in the waiting room all the time.
I just enabled it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a cool experience. I like it. So as you see right here, hopefully, in YouTube Studio, right down here it says closed caption, and it's grayed out, but I can turn it on. But when I turn it on, it says some of your settings could not be saved. Captions and ultra low latency cannot be used at the same time.
Oh.
So I turn it off, and I think if I go just to low latency,
yeah,
and then go to closed captioning, I get the same problem. Yeah, that didn't work out. So let's go to normal latency. Put a 1 if you think it'll work. Put a 0 if you think it won't work.
1.
Oh, wait, that's Doug's bill, not mine. And it works.
Yeah.
Normal will allow it. So,
all right.
Yeah, when you said that, I thought I had remembered seeing this somewhere, but I was driving down the road and couldn't do anything about it. So,
yeah, well, sense. I was thinking it was there somewhere too, but then I couldn't find it. Now I'm realizing that I just didn't look in the right place, right?
Brian says 3.
So I'm going to go back to my studio and let's see. Let's go. Now, if I go look at the current show, yeah, down here, closed captions is turned off. Well, I'm on ultra low latency, so we don't get captions during my show when I'm live streaming. And that makes sense because YouTube doesn't have enough time to do the captions when you have ultra low latency. Oh, now I can't even, why am I not even getting there now? Oh, it's on stream settings over here. Okay, closed captions. Yeah, since I'm already down here in the bottom left, it says does not support closed captions 1440p. So now if I go create a new show, it'll be 285. And then, oh, this is what I did, because I went through these panels and could not find it. And it indeed is not in these panels, because you have to go through all of these. There's no option in here to select closed captioning. And I'll set the date for Monday. Set the time for 9 a.m. Click done. Then I should be able to go in to edit that scheduled live stream and change the latency. So here it took me straight into this panel. Here's closed captions, and it defaults to ultra low latency because that's what my last one. It created this one based upon the last one. So I can't turn on closed captions. Gives me that warning. If I change to low latency, it still doesn't work. If I change to normal latency, oh, it's also giving me the duplicate stream key issue because I'm currently streaming. But here on normal latency, it does let me make that change. If I go click on low latency, then, oh, it reverted back to normal. I have to turn it off before I can go to low latency. All right, very good. Thank you, Ken.
Question.
Yes.
I'll experiment tonight and put it to normal latency to see if it actually will show closed captioning while I'm live under normal latency.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that functional. I think Carrie's shows are always on normal latency and closed captioning are happening. Let's see.
So that would mean none of my streams in the past will have closed captioning as well, because I always do them in ultra low lacy.
Oh, that's not true. That's not true.
Really?
Nope, that's not true.
Once it's processed.
After it processes the video, then it can put the closed captioning, but you can't get closed captioning live.
Okay.
While you're streaming. But I have already looked at your channel, and just to show the audience, I'm going to go bring up your channel and show that your old shows do have closed captioning. And I'm always on low latency, and I have also verified my shows. In fact, we can go to more recent than that. Here's 17 hours ago, and it'll have closed captions. So get up here a little bit. Oops. Famous last words, it doesn't. Why is that? Let's go back a day older. Yeah, here's closed captions on this day older. So apparently it takes longer than that. Well, I got to get past all your intro that doesn't have any voice speech. 3 minutes.
That's because I've been playing Doug lately and unmuting the Zoom and keeping my mic muted.
Oh, so there's closed captioning. And if closed captioning is happening,
interesting,
then transcripts are there. I go to the three-dot menu here, and here's show transcript. Once you turn the transcript on, you can do a Control F and search for a word. And if it finds that word in the closed caption, it did not find Jim in the closed caption. But now look at this. This is chat room. When you turn on the transcript, where did it go to? I already turned transcript on. Where did it? Oh, here it's on the top. Transcript is up on the top part, and chat is down here. Can you pop out transcript? No. You can toggle timestamps in the transcript. So if I do, let's scroll down and see something else that does exist. DSL. I'll come back up here to the top, Control F. I want to point out it doesn't have to be visible on the screen at the time. So DSL that I knew is in there, and it shows that it's only there once. The video is still running, so it jumps. If I pause the video, then I can search for something, and it's not going to jump away. Premiere. Let's search for Premiere. And it went straight to it. Oh, why do I have... Oh, Ken, can you turn off your screen share?
Sure. If I was screen sharing, I would. I'm not screen sharing.
No, this is frozen again. This is frozen again. My Zoom display on YouTube is frozen. So I'll have to go switch it back to something else. I think I can switch it to any of these something else.
Wait, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Because you're frozen, you're going down Alex Cheek's road of blaming me. Good Lord, you guys blame me for everything. Thank you. Fine. Taking my ball and going elsewhere.
Yep. I think that's highly likely. Okay, let's see. What do we got?
I'm actually eating a little bit right now, and I don't want to do it on camera.
What was that?
I'm eating and do not want to do it on camera.
All right. Ken's next message that I didn't get to. However, I get a message that says Captions ultra low latency can't be used at the same time. Yeah, I guess we just demonstrated that. Dennis, ran batch and booted lock screen seems to be fixed. Still waiting for the background image. So the lock screen fixed, but the Windows desktop, the background image not fixed. Is there maybe another registry key to deal with for the Windows background? Let's see, where's that registry key again? Where was it? What was it called? Oh, I still have the registry opened. Personalization, no changing lock screen. Now, that was the lock screen that we changed to 0. No changing lock screen is set to 0. That means false. If you change that to a 1, that's going to prevent the lock screen from changing. But
may I point out that you don't, if you have Windows 10 Pro, as I'm assuming most of us do on both YouTube and Zoom, you don't have to do registry hacks. You can do the same things through group policy.
If you have Windows 10 Pro, and if you're familiar with Policy Editor, yeah, okay. So Policy Editor, you're basically telling Policy Editor to modify the registry, right?
Yes. It's just if you have Windows 10 Pro or Windows 11 Pro, I feel more comfortable advising people to do it through the policy editor than messing with the registry.
And the wording of the policy editor is more user-friendly. It's not quite as cryptic as the registry. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm thinking there's some other registry entry that's needed. This is personalization, no changing lock screen. So it might be something like a registry key in this same container, in the same registry key. Maybe no changing background. But yeah, this would be specifically for lock screen. Now it was a D word that we created, so no changing background. It might be that simple, but highly inadvisable to make up registry keys that you haven't found instructions for somewhere. I don't.
Doug,
go ahead.
Yes. The top of the answers.
Yeah.
What website says lock screen Windows Spotlight? It doesn't say anything about the background.
Lock screen.
Look on the top of the.
Agreed. This was a solution for lock screen, not a solution for background. Now, the reason why I think it might be a key in this same, a value in the same registry key, is because this registry key is Microsoft Windows personalization. Because it's personalization, I would think anything under personalization, which is going to include lock screen and background, that it may be just a different value in the same registry key. These folders here are registry keys. These items here are, I'm saying this right, aren't I? The values, string value, binary value, and then the actual value data for this value name. The value name is no changing background. The value data is 0. So it might be
Ken
that
has
simple.
a question.
All right. Go ahead, Ken.
Oh, thanks. May I share my screen again? I want to ask a quick question.
Sure.
So earlier today while I was driving, I heard the conversation about William sending me something and he didn't know if he could send it or not. I got an email this morning and this says ME update tool and the new motherboard. I'm going to guess that's the BIOS.
The BIOS.
Yeah. So maybe you got a message saying you couldn't do it, but I got the emails. So
because it said I got a message that says they block it because of security scan.
Now it's grayed out. I don't know if okay. Let me think about this a minute. It is grayed out, so I'll go ahead and see if I can download there. Apparently not. I didn't see anything go anywhere. Do the same thing here. So they came through, but they appear to be empty. Maybe.
Well, there's
with
a
the latest
black
version. With the latest version of Chrome, they put the downloads in the top right hand corner.
Right, and I've been looking for it up here. I think it's this one right here.
No.
One of these up here.
No, lower. The top right panel of this window where it says 2 of 25, go to the right. There's a down arrow. What's there? Select input tool. No, that's not it. How about the 3-dot menu below that?
Oh, right. Oh.
Do you get a download here? Yeah. Download message. No, that's downloading the message. That's not. Okay, that's not doing it. How about now that yellow banner there says Gmail virus scanners are temporarily unavailable. The attached files haven't been scanned. Download these at your own risk. All right. Now, and when you click on that down arrow, go ahead and do that. And is it not clicking?
No, I don't think that it is.
Huh.
And again, these are grayed out, so I'm thinking maybe because they're grayed out. I've not really paid that much attention in the past on stuff like this, but since he got a message and these are grayed out. Let me see.
Oh, how about, wait a minute. Right above the yellow banner, on the right-hand side of the yellow banner, there's a download button. Try that.
Oh, there. Right here, BIOS and firmware zip.
Yeah.
So now, let's see, did it truly go on down? Jim, you better get a drink. Just let me know.
Doug, are you aware that on your YouTube stream,
Right
it's
here.
like not full screen?
Yeah, and I'm just looking at something now to do with that. Let's see, I got that locked. I have to unlock position.
So I got him.
And then do this. And then do this. Yeah, so I've got his screen share full screen now, but it just locked up because he stopped sharing.
Yeah, it's weird how Zoom's been doing that again. Still.
But
it's interesting. He said he wasn't able to do it, but I had already seen this earlier this morning, but I didn't do anything with it.
Well, actually, to your point, it didn't say that it didn't send it. It said that it blocked it. And indeed, on your screen, it was blocked. You had to jump through some extra hoops in order to unblock it.
True.
So maybe it's just informing him that it was blocked and you weren't able to just normally download it.
Oh, here's a twist to this story. There's nothing in the file.
Oh. Did you extract it?
Trying to. It says there's nothing.
Right click and extract.
Right click extract.
We can duplicate it.
Not
We can
extracting.
duplicate last night if you want.
Now when I hover over it, it says there's 22 bytes in there. But
No, that's too small.
Yeah, that's way too
And then go extract here. Nothing.
I can duplicate it again if you want. We could
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
share a screen and try to send the email and get the message I got.
We'll figure it out. No big
How
deal.
about I sent you the link last night or this morning, maybe, so you can just download it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
better.
we'll get it tonight. I don't want to take up Doug's time.
All right. All right. Well, I think it's time for us to say goodbye. Let me go give a last check to the chat room, looking at oranges. I will read through. I don't know. Am I going to read through the rest? I've got to leave. I don't know that I'm going to read through the rest of the chat room today. This is an article for Windows 10, how to use Windows 10 Spotlight lock screen images for your Windows. Well, we don't need to know how to use it. We don't know how to fix it when it's not working. Spotlight lock screen images for your Windows 10 desk. Oh, Windows 10. Okay, that's not the issue at hand. That's to be able to use Windows Spotlight on Windows 10, which Windows 10 does not have Spotlight as an option. And Dennis is going to try adding that registry value.
It's coming up now. I'm going to see.
All right.
I did just find out over the course of us talking about this. I did just find that you can actually, Microsoft makes whatever they call it, the Bing wallpaper thing. They make that available as an extra download for Windows 10, so you can download that and it lives in your taskbar.
Yeah, and I had done that on Windows 10. You're right. And I think at one point I thought that it was automatic with Windows 11. I now don't think that's the case. I think you actually, if you want the Bing wallpaper, I think you have to download it. I think you get prompted for it when you're first initializing Edge. I'm not sure about that. Hello, Princess. Was that the right name for that cat?
Yeah.
All right. Got that check mark. All right, I'll ask you in Zoom. Say goodbye to the audience, please.
Goodbye.
Good night, John Boy.
Bye to the audience, please.
I'm going to keep Zoom open for a little bit after ending the show.
Right.
And here is the email address if you want to send a question for myself and the chat room, the community to respond to, or put a comment on the video or put your question into the chat room. Have a great weekend, everybody. Goodbye. Wait.